I just wanted to introduce everybody to Morphio and what we've been working on from an AI and machine learning standpoint. We won't take too much of your time today, but Morphio has evolved. So I'm John Dorsey, co-founder of Morphio. Dr. Nima Morphio is our CTO here. And what we're trying to solve is we came from an agency world of digital marketing, and what we're trying to figure out is how to actually digitize an agency within digital marketing with AI and machine learning. So we look at that as having a few buckets. If you want to go to the next slide, Nima. And we look at this and say, you know, there's 4 buckets that are problematic within digital marketing. There's major concerns around cost and marketing security. So we scan for failures. Everybody obviously wants to make more money and more leads that come through. We need to lower acquisition costs. And the biggest problem that we've been finding in the market right now is the reliance on human capital. And everybody is kind of struggling to figure out what to do. There's something like 400,000 open jobs in North America. Maybe it's worse now with COVID. And we look at this world and we say we need to apply a lot more machine learning to it. It moves very, very fast with billions and trillions of dollars moving through it. So we have started, Morphio is about 4 years old now. It was born out of an agency. And then we have come together to really attack this world to say, how can we make this better and make this job better for everybody within these realms? So if you go to the next slide there, Nima. So what we really are trying to start with here is apply machine learning and AI to the following areas within digital marketing. So we spent a lot of time talking around data analysis. To give a little context to this, typically within the digital marketing world and the ad spend world, 50% of your time goes into data analysis. And the problem that creates is the minute you're done with your data analysis and digital marketing, new things have already happened, and you got to come back up to pace with that. We spend a lot of time with the AI and audience segmentation. To try to figure out who's a good user on a website, who's a bad user. We analyze what the good guys are doing, and we try to affect all the poor user experience on the other side of that. Anomaly detection. Nima's going to go into depth on a few of these things. I'm just trying to fly through it so we give him as much technical time. He is the doctor, not me. So forecasting, making sure all your pages are up, and we reverse engineer a lot of the SEO components within digital marketing, of what people are doing on different websites in order to gain access and information into your ranking within things like Google and Yahoo, so or Bing. So Nima, I'm going to hand it over to you to kind of deep dive into that, and we'll come back at the end here to answer any questions.
Sure. Thank you, John. Okay, so as John said, we have several features in our platform that help digital marketers to perform better. But let me focus on 3 features that we mainly take advantage of AI. The first one is audience segmentation, which one critical knowledge to any digital marketers is to know the audience that they are dealing with. And segmenting audience would be very helpful for them because you can generate like segments of audience in many different ways, but the way that we believe is the best way, and then is to segment the audience based on the top performers and bottom performers. So you know for which audience your marketing strategy is working, and for which audience you are getting traffic but no leads or revenue. So that's where we use AI to segment the audience for each account for the digital marketers. How we do it is like we gather data from Google Analytics API, and then we apply classification model to classify high versus low performing audience segments. Like in this example, as you can see, the segment 1 for this audience, which would be the very top performing audience, are the females from mobile in Ontario, and then in this age group interested in home and garden services. And you can see like there is a very high conversion rate for these segments, right? And then to say, once we generate this machine learning model to classify high versus low performing audience, we use the classifier to generate the top and bottom performing audience segments. And then at the end, once we have all these segments, we analyze these segments to generate traffic share, top journeys, channel analysis, and much more in-depth information for each segment. For the next feature, once you know, as a digital marketer, once you know your audience, you will start creating your campaigns and ads and landing pages to target your audience and spending money to get traffic conversions and then making money for your clients, right? But the problem always is once you start creating more campaigns and spending more, there would be a lot of a crazy amount of data that you have to analyze. There would be a lot of campaigns, KPIs, and then you have to make sure that you're spending right. So that's where we think that a module like anomaly detection would help digital marketers, because all they need to do as a digital marketing is connect their platforms in our website. And then once they do it, we take care of all the tracking from that point. And then if there's something unusual in the data, we let them know. But how we do it? So we have we do hourly, daily, weekly, and monthly analysis on the different KPIs for each account. For example, some KPIs like budget or spend, we need to focus them on a daily basis or hourly basis, but some more abstract KPI like ROI, we may want to track them on the weekly basis. We have different integration in our platform like AdWords, Google Ads, Facebook Ads, LinkedIn, and Microsoft Ads, and also Google Analytics. And then we get all this data, and then for each of these different platforms, we have multiple KPIs that we are tracking, like the traffic, conversions, revenue, cost per lead. There are like tons of different KPIs or different ways to look at the data. So the next step after we get the data would be generating the data sets. Oops. And to generate the data set, again, we check for like the historical data, and then we add on more features or complementary features, like what day of the week it is, like if it's like a dead Sunday or it's like a hot Tuesday for most of the clients, or which month of the year it is for like considering the seasonality. And then at the end, we inject all this data to a neural network using the historical data to predict the current state. And then once we know the current state, we use the t-test for analyzing the residuals, and then see if like the data that we are getting is far from our predictions or it's close to our predictions. So when the data is far from our prediction, it's an anomaly. And then when it's very close, it's like a normal range. And eventually, once you know your audience, and then once you have a system to generate your report, track your data, and then we have like anomaly detection. So you don't have to go through all your data, and then you have this system that takes care of all the tracking and then data gathering and data analysis. But the next problem for digital marketers usually is like, okay, I have all these campaigns running, and then I have these limited budgets that I'm getting from my client. How can I spend it to increase my ROI? So that's why we implement this feature called forecasting, where in this forecasting, you can, like as a user, you can come and then see all your spending campaigns and then start increasing and decreasing your budget for each platform, and then see how your forecasting in the future for each of these KPI look like how your conversion look like, how your traffic look like, how your CPL look like, if you spend less or more on each of these campaigns. And we also implement the optimize feature. So we can handle optic optimization and suggest you how to increase or decrease your campaigns through different platforms to get a better conversion KPI or whatever your KPI for that account is designed. How we do it is like basically very similar to anomaly detection, but the only difference is we also consider all these different historical spend data for each platform, and then what we do is so for anomaly detection, we don't store the prediction model anymore, but in this case, we do store the model, and we are using TensorFlow to generate the neural network, and then we store the prediction model, and then you can come in the UI and then load the model and start playing with all these different numbers and see how the neural network generate or change the forecasting for different KPIs. That's it. I'm going to give it back to you, John.
Sure. Thanks, Nima. So we thought we would just close with this and what we've learned and as we're scaling through our first year in market. And a few things that we've kind of discovered as we go through this. Maybe people have solutions to this already because, you know, this is our first AI product that we're coming out with. But we're finding that people need to understand what the AI does very, very specifically behind the scenes, as to not make any assumptions. We're finding that there's a little bit of fear of AI taking over. And in the same moment, they have this concept that because it's AI, anything that our users can think of, they think that the product should also do that on the fly, which we find to be very, very interesting in our side of the world here. And I'm sure we're all dealing with this to some degree. And our pivot point and our new maneuver here is we've been very good at finding anomalies and changing things and applying a lot of machine learning to that. And we're kind of building our machine learning and our AI together to continue to give very, very good insights, as in how to change your website, how to change your campaigns, how to maneuver buttons and move them in the right spots. We're putting a lot of time into the actual insight engine and the true AI to continue to drive value. That's kind of what our clients are starting to ask for now.